All right.
I feel like being a pickup, like
No,
artist.
hey, we are on. We are on.
I mean, right, there are the great masters, of course, in pickup artist history, the canon, Mystery, his
That's the
sidekick,
only one that anyone's ever heard of.
Toro, was his sidekick Toro? I forget.
Oh my gosh.
Toro?
What was
Right. So, how about we talk about some
Google
actual
that.
games instead of the game? Because
Wow.
last night we had a good one. I'm trying to rescue you guys as usual from yourselves.
Mystery, sidekick, pickup artist, MTV.
Mina, I will not stand for you white knighting me. I don't need your white knighting.
Thank you.
Leave me alone.
Thank you.
I'm fine. I don't need you.
Domonique,
Yeah.
how dare you? Half Asian, half white knight.
Fair point.
Apologies.
Offensive.
Also, it
Yes,
was not Toro, it was Matador and J-Dog. Really mixed up the sidekick branding.
That seems weird.
in
Like
the
Matador,
PUA community.
what Matadors do is like get out of the way.
We're not doing this.
Oh,
We're not doing
okay.
this. We're not doing this.
All right, fine. Welcome to Debatable, a fake television show where we do not debate whether or not Matador and J-Dog are on the Mount Rushmore of pickup artists. That's Mina down there. That's Domonique Foxworth over there.
Oh, well done.
Alabaster, where are you trying to put us?
We're going to start with last night's football game. And our question is, did that win quell any concerns you had about the Cowboys?
Good job. Way to go. Let's just take a second to appreciate
Yep.
how much Alabaster has improved from yesterday to today. I don't know
Well-
if you guys watched it yesterday, but yesterday we have a Cowboys game coming up, and the first topic was about Taysom Hill. It's like, have you not gone to ESPN training? Like, that is the most non-ESPN thing, or the least ESPN thing you could possibly do.
I would dispute that because Taysom Hill has a way of
Turning the ball
making
over?
people in. You know what I was thinking last night?
Turning people
I've
into
never-
white
I've
knights.
Okay.
There we go.
But enough about Sean Payton. No, I like. Look, I've been as critical as Taysom Hill and his handling and his promotion and his general usage and all of it as anyone. But last night when he had that one drive where he had that sick hurdle, I was thinking to myself, if Peyton and the Saints hadn't tried so hard to make Taysom Hill a thing, to force him on us, I would be enjoying watching this because he is an incredible athlete. He is not a quarterback, but like he is a fun football player to watch. And if he was just like some scrappy 31-year-old dude from BYU who like had this game, you know, like Domonique, you agree with me, right? Like we would be rooting for him if not for the fact that the Saints industrial complex had forced him on us. So
he was perfect for all of those things. Like he had the build, the attitude. I don't know if there are any other characteristics I can come up with, but he had all of those things that would make him be the guy that we would all get behind. Like, yeah, look at this underdog doing underdog things. But then they said he's going to compete with a former #1 overall pick to be the starting quarterback. And then we all were like, what? Compete? Oh, yeah, it was before that. It was Teddy
Got paid.
time. I forgot.
No,
it wasn't
it was
even
last
before
year.
That.
He got 4 starts.
Yeah, it was when they were comparing him to Teddy Bridgewater, and we were like, what? You're going to start the guy who runs L5 on kickoff?
Right, I do love that there is some poetic beauty in the fact that Taysom Hill, football joke that I clearly didn't get, but poetic beauty in the fact that Taysom Hill injured the middle finger on his right throwing hand, and all we've been doing so far is flipping our middle fingers towards him. So shout out to you, Taysom Hill, your grit and toughness. I see you.
It's not
at the very least.
It's
I
not,
see you.
I want to clarify something before we actually talk about the Cowboys, the relevant team here. Middle finger is the collective middle finger of NFL, Twitter, and media. It is not directed at Taysom Hill. It is directed at the organization. I want to, like, it's, I think this is
I'm sure he feels a lot better about that distinction.
You know what? As he rolls in his pile of money, I'm sure he's fine. Okay, so the Cowboys. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Domonique, I want to ask you about this because, the Cowboys defense, whatever, to play Taysom Hill. But the Cowboys offense, like, are you a little bit concerned based on what we saw? No, wow.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry.
Nope.
I was
He's
concerned.
Domonique.
No, I was concerned. The nod or the shake was like because I've been disgusted with it. The nod was at yes, I'm concerned. Yeah, they've been bad for a number of weeks right now. I think you can explain away a lot of their bad performances with injuries, but this is football. Everybody gets hurt. Like, you're going to have injuries. If you can't find a way to put together a coherent offense when people are nicked up or out, then it's hard for me to trust you. And this team is not a championship contending team unless they follow the Chiefs model, which is be amazing at offense and be mediocre at defense, because that's the best they can hope for this defense going forward. Like, this is not a dominant defense. Their offense has to be dominant, and they haven't been in a long enough period of time that make me suggest that they actually aren't.
So just because I am staggered a little bit to hear Domonique seemingly walk back the headline that he once wrote, which is, or presumably effectively wrote, which is that Dak Prescott is better than Tom Brady.
Oh no, I'm not changing that.
Yeah, exactly. So where are we offensively though? Why has he looked like a person who does not at all fit that characterization?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is more complicated than just one criticism of Dak Prescott. Like, I saw him make some incredible throws last night, and I saw him make some bad throws last night. But I do think that we anointed Kellen Moore as this offensive genius, and I think part of when that happens is you start to believe it, and you want to draw up even more confusing and impressive and outstanding plays, and you get relying on all of that stuff to make it work when you have guys. And sometimes the best thing to do is let your guys be guys and do simple stuff and let Dak Prescott get you in the right plays and make the right passes, throw short passes to CeeDee Lamb and let him make things out of it.
Yeah.
And, of course, everyone's favorite thing, pound the rock.
Yeah.
Okay, so
pound the rock. Pound the rock.
Pound
that
it,
really
pound it,
is
pound
like
it.
it's an overwhelming thing right now, because Scott, like both Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, is getting more shell looks. I'm sure you noticed that,
Yes.
Domonique, as well. And
I obviously
Pound the
have
Rock.
too. So many shells. They're just cracking them.
Sorry, okay.
Crackers,
So,
some butter, some
last
lemon,
night-
cracking all those shells open.
Last night, the Saints
Escargot.
played a lot of a mixture of a lot of cover
Mississippi,
two
and I
and two man, cover two man. And when they played two, you saw Dak do the same thing we have seen Patrick Mahomes do, which is, I know you talked about, just give it to CeeDee Lamb underneath. Dak didn't want to a few times. You saw Dak forcing the ball downfield in the same way that we have seen Patrick Mahomes force the ball downfield. And to me, like, that is the overwhelming storyline of this NFL season. Is like, we've got all of these elite quarterbacks. You can throw Josh Allen into the mix as well. Which ones of them will be content taking what's available to them underneath, coupled with offensive coordinators, I think, game planning for that, because it was a mix. And then the other thing I'll add, Dominique, is when the Saints did man, there were rush lanes for Dak, and our guy was not taking off. And that's something I've noticed since he's come back from the calf injury. Dak Prescott is a dual threat quarterback when he's healthy, but we're not seeing that other side of the dual threat right now. So when teams do play man against him, he is not punishing him with his legs.
Yeah, and he looks explosive. I saw him stepping up in the pocket in a way that seemed explosive, like, hey, this guy's going to run. And then he flattens out at the line of scrimmage and throws it into a tight window, which is great when you can connect on those tight windows. But I also wouldn't mind you just picking up 5 to 7 and sliding. So I think it's a hard thing for us to judge, because that's the criticism we most often have, or that they've heard most often, is you don't scramble to run, you scramble to throw. And that's how you get big plays. And if you watch Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott too, you watch those plays, that's when the big plays come. It's when they scramble up, the defense commits, they slide to the right like that. I remember seeing on the Monday night game, Russell Wilson, like the big play on their touchdown winning drive, or their game tying drive, was about him stepping up in the pocket, flattening out, and finding someone open in the middle, because the zones have to adjust. But to your point, if they're not in zone, they're in man, there's no adjustment necessary. So then that's for you to go, and maybe you get 5, maybe you get 7, maybe you get 15.
Mina, you've made a series of noises there, so if I'm going to say something, I just want to acknowledge that you clearly have more thoughts, and I don't want to take that time away from you.
I just want to hit one quick thing, too, because I want to go back to the pound the rock
There
thing.
it is. Yes.
The Cowboys were running terribly for most of this game, and some of that has to do with Elliott clearly being banged up. A lot of it has to do with the Saints defense, and there's a lot of panic right now about the Cowboys offense and what we saw, but it should be acknowledged, the Saints have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I think, like, just judging based on some of the reactions to last night's game, that seems to be forgotten. They have an incredible front. Demario Davis is an amazing linebacker. Quan Alexander is playing well too. And in the secondary, like, when they do play man coverage, they were glued to those guys' hips, man. So, like, I think I am concerned about Dallas's ability for the offense to carry this team in the way that Domonique described. But I also think you have to consider the matchup. This is a Saints defense that has made Tom Brady look mortal for 2 years now, but this season as well. They're very good and deserve some credit. And I think we're forgetting that because the offense so much.
Right. So can I just put this in very blunt terms then? Because every team has concerns this year. Like everyone has concerns they have not yet quelled. Thank you for giving me the ISO for that very profound observation. Nice. But my question here, as I throw it back to people who actually care about this stuff in a real like cellular level is, do the Cowboys win a game in the playoffs this year?
My cells don't care. I got to be honest with you. Like if you can get a bunch of cells together, they might care. But individual cells, they're not thinking about this Cowboys matchup, just to be honest with you.
There's not even like a sleeper cell somewhere that's going to be awakened.
No. The sleeper cells, they sleep. They don't wake up.
A sleeper cell that's run by a tiny version of Stephen A. in a cowboy hat.
I mean, that's an unfair question because the answer is they could.
It depends.
You know, like it depends.
It's all matchups. Yeah.
Depends on matchups, and it also depends on football. How football feels like being that day. Because like the Cowboys.
So
go ahead.
I just want to point something out, Domonique. I just want to clip the last 15 seconds of your answer and append it to the beginning of this conversation. Cut the rest of it out and move on.
It's not fair. It's not fair. The fact of the matter is, football is a complex game that involves a multitude of countless variables. Countless variables, and we are trying to give you a breadth of all the important variables, and then you're asking us to predict which way all these variables are going to go. Like it's actually impossible.
What about the ESPN manual that you said you knew resembled your answer?
So I've been consulting the ESPN manual, which says not only we have to predict playoffs in week 13, but we also have to talk about awards in week 13. And I want to throw out a question.
Yes.
Micah Parsons, already rookie of the year. So throw that out, right? Should he be in consideration for defensive player of the year? Because earlier on this season, people were talking about Trevon Diggs. I think that's gone now as you've seen some of the struggles in cover. Yeah, done.
Well, in this broadcast, we had Troy calling like multiple people the defensive player of the year, and I'm also confused as to, is it Micah Parsons at this point? Sure.
But Micah Parsons, like Domonique, Pablo too.
Thank you. Finally,
he looks like one of the most complete defensive players I have seen in like the last 5 years. I still think Myles Garrett has a pretty healthy lead because he's the sack total. I think he's hurt by playing for a football team that is struggling right now. But like, if you were building a team from scratch, would you not look to Micah Parsons as one of the first few players in your like NFL draft?
Micah Parsons is front seven Derwin James. Like he is the equivalent of Derwin James, except for the front seven. He is someone who is not a Swiss Army knife as Taysom Hill is, because as I told people yesterday, Swiss Army knives are mediocre at everything. Micah Parsons is awesome at everything. Derwin James, awesome.
Wait, what is a weapon that's not a Swiss Army knife that we can use as an analogy that can actually kill you? I feel like you might be useful.
A samurai sword.
I mean, it's like a gun with a bayonet, right? Like a gun.
A bayonet.
A bayonet.
We're going old timey.
I don't know. I'm just saying that it's good close range because you can get your pokes on, and you got some distance also. You can get your pa. Like it's poking fire. You got poking fire.
Are bayonets really effective though at sword wise? Because I feel like if someone gets that close to you, and your bayonet,
this has to be some sort of like video game or cartoon weapon, because no weapon exists that is great at everything from all ranges all the time.
Also, the reload time on a bayonet, you gotta like.
Derwin James gets hurt a lot. He gets hurt a lot.
Oh wow!
Right.
You know who I would like to use the word use the word bayonet? Brian Kelly. I want to hear his pronunciation.
Great point. Can we finally get to the whole reason I showed up to work today, Alabaster?
Thank you, Mina. I have been waiting 14 minutes for this. Okay.
14 on that?
Okay. What was your reaction to Brian Kelly's fake Southern accent? And we have the video.
Basically.
Okay. Should we watch the video first? What do you want to do,
We gotta give context. We gotta give context.
I just want people to understand how lucky they are to have the accent expert that is Mina Kimes, who has like
Correct.
30 accents combined into one because she moves
You've
so many
seen some of them
places.
already.
Like Mina she'll give you Canada even though she's never lived there. She has them
Domonique,
all.
she said to me earlier, as you pointed out, she called me my man.
Yes, she did. This is before.
And I let it
before.
slide. That's how numb I am to her accent variety.
This is before we even sat down. He's like, "Hey, I'm just looking out for you, my man." It's like, "What? Who's my man?"
And why?
Let's watch the clip.
Why
Why
am I not
are we
noticing
already
that?
attacking me? We haven't even watched the clip.
Oh, my bad, my
Play
man.
the clip.
Sorry, my
My
man.
man, roll the clip.
My man.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana, but more importantly,
Oh,
to
Lord.
be with you great fans, and to be part of what is going to be an incredible ride here at Louisiana State University.
It's the family.
Family.
It was a lot of words in there.
Family.
It's from Massachusetts.
I just want to point something else out too, very quickly. That I watched the full video of that. His actual family is behind him. Imagine having to sit there or stand there while your dad debuts a new accent.
Yeah.
Lord.
Like, what got into Dad? $100 million, sweetie.
What got into you? Shut up.
Yeah.
Family. This
Shut
is how
up.
his family
And practice
works.
saying family. At least he didn't go with like the Bayou, you know, like the real deep one. Like he went with a
Cajun.
Southern accent. He didn't go with like a Cajun, which would have been.
You didn't call anybody Mon Ami?
You know.
No more X-Men talk.
That's it.
No more
We have
X-Men
no
talk
choice.
on this show.
You can't say
Very
Mona
Reggie
Lisa.
LeBeau.
Oh, no.
If you want to know what the real Mina Kimes actually sounds like, Domonique, it was that. The Mina, that accent is authentic.
Well,
to you.
I'm trying to fix. I don't
yeah,
know what.
this is the type of show we have.
No.
This is
ISO the
what her
person with the problem.
stands really do appreciate.
Yes.
I've been told I can no longer say sex, but her stands.
Oh,
There it is.
not good.
You know,
You know, oh,
Oh,
you know
man.
what? If I had a real camera, why is it ice?
Yes, because that's the type of show we're doing.
no, we're now
doing a show.
going to a Blair Witch Project version of Debatable. We just follow
Nobody
around
wants
Mina
to
as
see
she
Pablo.
tries to. I would
Okay,
say
I
a whole hive of people.
I think I got it.
See that.
I think I got it. You know
So
what,
do
Charlie?
we have
This is-
the Jeff
Who's
Darlington
Charlie?
version?
I'm
That's
sorry.
great.
Who is Charlie? Oh yeah, no,
Alabaster.
Alabaster. Do you have the journalism by our colleague Jeff Darlington?
We do.
Give it
Those
to me.
incredible 12 years of my life, for me and my family, being here at Notre Dame.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana.
Oh, gosh.
It's funny every time.
So, like,
Damn it.
coaches are somewhat like politicians.
Yes,
In that,
carpetbaggers.
Yeah, in that they have to like endear themselves to different populations. But why do they think we're so stupid? Like none of
Thank
this
you.
matters. None of this matters to
Okay.
anyone at LSU. Do a good job. They don't care where
Yeah.
you're from. Like do a good job, and they will start talking like you. Well, maybe not LSU, but in most places. The point is, if you win, that's all that matters. Saying family ain't doing nothing.
Family.
I now that I've seen our colleague Jeff's phenomenal editing skills there, by the way. Shout out to Jeff Darlington. What
Pulitzer.
I want to do is to have Marcus Spears talking and then somehow overlay that onto Brian Kelly talking. I feel like that is the next stage in this All right, so I'm going to address the accusations levied at me before we watch that video, which is that I too am an accent chameleon. Is that what we want to call it? I mean, how
No.
is there like a better term for?
No.
That's a little dramatic.
No, yours is genuine. Like what you and Brian Kelly are doing are very different things. Like Brian Kelly
Well,
thinks
because-
he's fooling people.
Well, Mina is her own. And you know what? Thinking more about this, right? Because there's the I get drunk and try on new accents guy. I have been that guy briefly. I'll admit.
Oh gosh.
There's also the study abroad to Europe person, Mina,
Oh,
who comes back
that's
saying
not good.
Barcelona
Ibiza?
guy, Ibiza. There's that person.
Yeah.
You are not those people. you are. I don't know if it's conscious. I don't think it is.
It's not.
But
she's
there is
just
like
Okay.
she's a walking amalgamation of all American
yeah.
accents. Like that's it.
There you go. So I'll explain this because I
A
haven't
melting
explained this
pot.
before in response to this particular accusation. Really, it comes every time I'm on. Notably, First Take is the only time where people really notice this and get like kind of riled up about. They'll say in my response, "Wait, she slipped into a different accent, or is she from Canada? Is she from the South? What is going on in Midwest?" I get a lot of Midwest too.
Yeah.
So people, here is why I am an accent chameleon. I was born in Nebraska. I lived in Michigan, California twice, Washington, Virginia. So I basically, long story short, my dad was in the Air Force and I moved like a zillion times as a kid, New York, Connecticut. And I moved around a lot when I was really young. So at the time, I probably did pull a Brian Kelly and show up at my new schools, notice that kids were talking a certain kind of way and began to approximate that. The result is like when you mix a bunch of different colors of paint, how you always get purplish brown. That is my voice. My voice is the purplish brown of voices. I can't explain it. I really don't know what accent anymore. You know what? This is progress. You're looking at progress. This is
Yeah.
a post-accent
No,
humanity.
this is right. No, Domonique, sometimes people tell me I look like what every human is going to look like in like 5,000 years. Mina sounds like what every human is going to sound
hope
like in
not.
5,000 years. Yeah,
Goodness.
get used
Wow.
to it. Get used to it.
Goodness. I mean, I would like us to
Yes.
be like a little bit handsomer, maybe. I'm just saying.
Oh
Like,
no,
what's up?
look, those cheekbones. These lips. I mean, come on, man. I'm bringing together all the qualities.
You do look like an Instagram filter, probably.
Instagram.
That is honestly the
That's a
kindest
compliment.
thing.
That is
The
a
You
heck
kindest
know
of a
how
compliment.
like on Instagram, all of a sudden like all the filters kind of were like vaguely Asian, but like a little with the like high cheekbones and like
Yep.
dark. Anyways, this.
So are we
feels
done
like-
with beards in 5,000 years? We're not doing that anymore?
Oh no,
How-
you
how
in
about
5,000 years you grow it out. It just gets real like Fu Manchu and doesn't
Oh.
totally connect.
Ah.
But it makes you feel better in the morning because you are on the road to something.
I don't
that you
like
never
this
actually
topic
get to.
anymore. I don't like this topic anymore.
Let's talk
Deal
about
with
sports.
it. No, wait. Yeah. So first off,
Thanks.
Alabaster.
Save
wait,
us.
No, Domonique, you saw this before though. Alabaster put his card down for like 0.2
Yeah.
seconds and then hid like a turtle. So Alabaster, why are you coming out of your shell right now?
So I didn't want to ruin Mina's point. She was rolling, but we made this video, and I think we know exactly what Brian Kelly was actually going for when he said family.
Oh God.
A chorus of Vin Diesels.
This is what everyone will look like in 5,000 years.
Oh my
Well,
god.
Vin Diesel is actually what
That's
like
right. No,
everyone
that's the
will look
answer.
like. Not Pablo. Pablo
That's
is
that's
not
the answer.
the future. It's Vin Diesel. It's a bunch
Oh
of
my
Vin
God.
Diesels.
By the way, just shout out to all of our production budget going towards photoshopping Brian Kelly's face onto that dude.
Of course, Vin Diesels.
Yep.
Glad we have that instead of a camera that stays attached to my computer.
That was like the coolest look in like 1993. Like a black tank top with a silver chain. 93, killing
I think
it.
it's back. I think it's back.
Is it?
Can I bring? Well, that I don't know if I could pull that off personally myself. Maybe I'm not the future in that way. Can I just point something out though in defense of Brian Kelly? Because Mina did hint at something, Domonique, that I also find relatable, which is if you're in a given room, you do take on the characteristics of those people to get along better with them.
You should not. Don't.
What?
I accept. I know you. I've known you long enough to know that you have a suggestive brain. So it's not like intentional. Like
Okay.
I feel like this is born true through the course of doing this show.
Suggestive brain.
If I say 3 words to you before the show, I am almost 100% guaranteed. Like if they're obscure words, that they will tumble out of the unlocked door that is connected to a mansion that is your brain, onto the show. Like, I know that to be the case. So I know that if I drop you in a room with a bunch of people talking and acting the same way without any control, you'll start to do it. But let me just warn you, is that depending on the group, like, it could be offensive.
No, this is where you're right. So what you've just awakened me to is the reality that somewhere there are many videos from inside of Ubers in which I'm agreeing
No,
with every single conspiracy. I'm so sorry.
I do want to say something.
I believe in vaccines.
Is a very it's sort of like well, in the case of Brian Kelly, it's like SEC code switching is basically what we saw there, and it is something that goes in multiple directions. Like, for example, when I'm around Dan Orlovsky, which I'm around him a lot today, I say "what the fudge." I start using like stupid words instead of my usual cussing.
You start losing taste buds. It's very weird how that happens.
It's so odd. It's crazy. It's contagious, honestly.
Ooh, this clam chowder is too spicy.
No.
Did somebody sprinkle pepper in this milk?
I need a booster shot against the Dan variant, like, immediately. Because the other day I did it around and you know me, I curse like a sailor. The other day I wasn't even in Connecticut. I was here, and instead of saying a curse word that I won't say here, I said I don't want to use dance language. Anyways, point is, I started thinking in his voice and talking in it.
He's like a country boy, but he's from the Northeast. It's very weird.
It's very.
Is that true? Anyway, I Alabaster. Do you have any good accents in your arsenal?
I don't. I have a lot of non-regional diction. Is how I ended up voicing these cards. I will say, Mina, please don't start standing for Carson Wentz if you become full Orlovsky.
Oh, yeah. Is he still doing that? I had a text conversation with him a couple weeks ago that he was off that narcotic. He's back on it?
You know, it comes back. That first half of that Bucs-Colts game, you could see him relapsing a tiny bit. And yeah, I know. I was like, I'm here. When you need to phone a friend,
Yes.
when you feel the temptation to stand Carson Wentz and you're looking at him, you're like, call me, Dan. Call me.
Look at that throw. Oh, athleticism. He hangs in the pocket. I'm going to tweet that he's great. I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna tweet out some non-regional diction to praise him. Yeah.
He's fudging. He's fudging
Let's
great.
talk about sports.
All right, it's time for a game. We're gonna play If Then, which is we'll give you a Mad Lib. You guys fill it out. And our first one is, if the Suns beat the Warriors again tonight, then blank.
So if the Suns beat the Warriors again tonight, this would be 2 wins in a week for the Phoenix Suns, who have won approximately, doing the math here, 1 million games in a row. Then I think the Warriors should probably consider making a trade. And it's not a trade that I think people really like to talk about because they all assume that Klay Thompson's coming back and that'll solve all their problems.
No.
And to some extent,
no, I know where this is going.
Yeah, we all know where it's going.
I'm just saying, you know who might be very helpful is Ben Simmons. Who if not him? Who if not him would fit in with this team and also be a big body? Okay. Yeah. Let's hold that against them. Still. It's 2022 almost. That's what we're doing.
Wasn't that 2021 though?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
It's 2021. That happened this year.
Yeah, I think if the Suns win, we should just give them the trophy now and end the season because everything that happens in the middle of the basketball season is definitive.
That's right.
Is that?
Oh, you're joking. Pablo, get Klay Thompson back. I don't know if you forgot that.
Hadn't heard.
I just want to remind you. So, okay. Tuesday's game was weird. I mean, it was the Warriors' worst performance of the season, I think, in every sense. Shooting.
Steph's worst night, like
worst
ever.
Game.
Yeah.
Although I do think I'm very curious as to whether the Suns' defense, which is like exceptionally stingy and exceptionally good against Steph, I thought Michael Bridges was amazing. Whether that that can recur tonight. They didn't have Devin Booker for most of that game. They're not going to have him in this game. So there should be an advantage for the Warriors in this one, Booker. And I do think, to go back to the if they do lose again against a Suns team that doesn't have Booker for the entire game, then the Suns are the prohibitive favorite to win, like you're saying, to win. I don't think how you can come to any other conclusion.
I mean, I'd like to say that that December, to Domonique's searing satire, To the point that he was making, I would like to say that this does mean that they're the best team that I would absolutely bet on come June, but I don't believe that.
To be fair, to be fair to my man Alabaster, I complained yesterday about talking about a game that was not the Suns and Warriors because I actually thought the Suns and Warriors was the only game we've had so far this season that actually matters, you know. And then he gives us Suns Warriors conversation, and then I ostensibly say, you know what, it's December, don't matter.
You know what though? What is fascinating to me is that this game got flexed. I guess where you said word.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Lakers Clippers,
ESPN slot,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and LeBron's playing in that game, so like that is really telling. I think of the fact that the NBA right now revolves around Steph Curry and the Warriors.
No, Steph Curry, for the NBA, whose business as an entertainment product in terms of linear TV ratings has been gasping for breath at times, right? Not a total disaster, but something that they're concerned about. The Warriors of the mid-2010s, that is the nostalgia that everybody likes to drink. That is when we feel like this is the best version of the modern game in terms of aesthetics and also in terms of like actual business proposition. What I think the Warriors are going to struggle with in a real basketball sense, though, if they do lose to the Suns in a way that they lost to the Suns earlier this week, is what happens when you play a dude who's big. Because the other subplot of that game was DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton bullied the Warriors down low. They have James Wiseman, who is tall, but he's not big in that way. There is that distinction. And if they are going to make a trade in a serious way, it wouldn't be for Ben Simmons. It's like, do you go and think about, I don't know, do you think about a center somewhere, right? Maybe a Miles Turner somewhere who could be a big body that you throw in front of a DeAndre Ayton or a Giannis who obviously ate DeAndre Ayton in the finals, or an Embiid, although, again, I can't even muster the energy to pretend that would be the matchup at the finals. But yes, that would be another matchup concern for them.
I mean, I think the tough thing with trying to find somebody to match up with Ayton is that most of those people are either offensive or defensive liabilities. Like there aren't NBA centers, very many of them, that are effective on both ends of the floor. And Ayton is in large part because Chris Paul is there to set him up, and because Devin Booker has become a little bit more proficient at using him also. So, like, I don't know that that's Steph's game. If you want the ball in Steph's hands and you want him to go in and out, weaving around to get open, like, where does a center who can't shoot and space the floor, how does a center who can't shoot fit into that offense? So, like, you're costing your offense at the risk or hoping to improve your defense, which is already the best in the NBA, for this one particular opponent.
Do you think
both ways?
Do you think that they're the best defense in the NBA? I do think, like, okay, so we talk about this game in stakes. It's really hard to evaluate or to, like, we're having conversation about the Warriors and these, like, championship matchups, but again, when Clay, we don't know what Clay's going to look like. If he's 80% Clay, everything about this, like, we're all of this discussion about the offense and the need to be more dominant in the paint, it's kind of rendered moot by the level of spacing they'll have, assuming that Steph continues playing at God level. But I do think something that will be on display is the caliber of defense. Earlier, I mentioned about how well Mikal Bridges, God damn it, I said his name wrong again. Mikal Bridges. I know, I said it wrong the first time. It was I know. It's Mikal.
Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges. We talking about Mikal Bridges?
Mikal Bridges.
Do you think it is fair to say that the Warriors defense is objectively better than the Suns defense is the question?
I don't think it's fair to say they're objectively better, but I think that they are one of the best defenses in all of basketball. So I don't know if they're better than the Suns. That's not the point. My point is that defense is incredibly good, and now Pablo's saying that we might need to go get us a center in order to improve this defense, but the defense is already great. So you're going to bring a center to help out a great defense. It will also definitely bring down their already efficient offense.
The Warriors defense, though, will be dominant today. Defense today. Defense tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Defense.
No.
Can I not?
No.
Is this taking the carpetbagging too far?
Next topic. Pablo knows how to kill topics.
Don't put this topic on the internet, not because of my mispronunciation, which is admittedly embarrassing, and I realized it like 30 seconds later, but because of what Pablo just did. I'm just
Pablo
stepping
knows
in
how to
here.
end the topic, baby. He knows how to end the topic.
I'm just saying. Sometimes I accidentally am George Wallace. I apologize.
No,
No,
don't double
what?
down.
Ben Wallace.
Don't double
Ben
down.
Wallace. Ben Wallace. Defense. Defense. The greatest defensive center who's short of the
Again.
center played in NBA history is Ben Wallace.
Don't put this on.
I was
Don't
doing
put this on
Texas.
on
I was
here.
doing Texas, not Alabama. I was doing Texas.
Oh, I'm sorry, Domonique.
Yes.
Mina,
Save
I have
us.
some bad news for you.
What?
This is all on the internet already.
No, no, I understand
Just
that.
like clip it. You just want to clip it. That was a good, important interjection.
All right, our next topic.
God.
We are. This is going to be bad for Pablo. A
No.
lot of accents here. If
Oh, that's
Alabama
new.
beats Georgia in
Oh,
the SEC
God.
championship
Oh.
game, then
Don't
boy.
try. Don't try.
Ooh. Okay, so I'll try to lay this out soberly and in my actual voice because it is interesting and complicated. So basically, if Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, then God bless you, Cincinnati, right? Because if Oklahoma State beats Baylor, and therefore we have a playoff picture that goes Georgia or Alabama 1, presumably, then Michigan, presuming Michigan beats Iowa, and then Georgia, and then that 4 seed is Cincinnati or whoever comes out. Well, it wouldn't be whoever, it would be Oklahoma State, right? If they beat Baylor. So I could maybe hang up a banner that says you were in the top 4 of the playoff picture on December 3rd and take that home with you. Sorry, Ohio.
I don't know. I guess they do really want it. I would say that maybe they don't. Hey, what's up, buddy? I'm doing TV. Kind of TV.
That
fake
Declan?
TV. Yeah, it's Decky. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I think that if you're Cincinnati, do you really want any of this smoke? Like, is it the best scenario to be Central Florida
Love
and
where
then
you're
to
going with this.
find another SEC opponent to beat in like a minor playoff game
great
and say,
point. It's such a good point.
y'all lucky because I mean, do they really want to see Alabama or Georgia? I mean, Michigan, maybe they're confident there, but
No, to be to be the righteous person who has wronged Mina into eternity, the true champion is a far more fun thing than being curb stopped, yes, by Nick Saban.
Like UCF vibes. Yeah, I think
Correct.
everyone in college football is rooting for Georgia here, right? Because you want to get Alabama knocked out like Michigan doesn't. Certainly no one wants to play Georgia in the 3 seed. I'm really excited for this game. I weirdly think it could be closer or close than despite Georgia's defensive dominance. I understand that the Alabama offensive line is not what it was. I do think Alabama has the better quarterback in this one, however. And if like I had to bet on, which of these quarterbacks is going to do more crazy stuff in this game, again, despite I think Georgia's going to win. I want to be clear. But Bryce Young more likely his Heisman moment in this game. Although I will say, talking about the Heisman, this is a chance for defensive players. Like this is a year.
Yes.
It's kind of like NFL MVP, right, Domonique? Like there's really no dominant quarterback in football right now. I think it's probably Rodgers or Brady who's going to win it. But if there was a dominant defensive player in football, this would be the year in which they could be. Or we could write them in. They could be the
That's
Ross
why
Perot,
that's one. Sorry.
In college football, no, I'm just saying. You got Anderson and Davis in this game. This is a game where one of those defensive players on Alabama or Georgia could have his moment. Obviously, competing with Aiden Hutchinson in Michigan, and as a defensive player, I imagine you might be kind of rooting for that. It's been like since 1997. When was the last time a defensive player won the Heisman?
Yeah, I have no idea. It never happens. It's the same thing for NFL MVP, but that makes me think Myles Garrett should be incredibly upset with everybody in Cleveland because he would be the one, I think. If Cleveland was good, if they were good,
totally.
we would be it would at least be in the conversation, and they are costing him an MVP trophy or at least some MVP
Oh,
buzz.
he also has merch pre-printed already. He had that jacket for Halloween. He knows. I mean, that dude absolutely was prepared for that eventuality.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not going to happen in college either, unfortunately, because I mean, the further we get away from like old school football, which like you and I think, or all three of us are comfortable with moving away from it, but like it's become more quarterback centric. So quarterback is going to be most valuable and the most outstanding in most cases.
You really don't think that, let's say like Alabama wins 14-10 and Will Anderson just goes off in this game and has like 2 sacks and a forced fumble, whatever. You think he doesn't win the Heisman, even if that happens.
No.
They find a way to give it to Nick Saban. Nick Saban becomes the first coach to win the Heisman.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I mean, Heisman buzz normally is like a 2-year process. You know, like if you aren't, like people know your name and you come back and then you do it again, like it normally has to be like that. And for defensive players, they don't get any buzz. Like it's so hard for a defensive player to get the amount of buzz you would need to get to win a Heisman Trophy, especially when there's a quarterback sitting right there just waiting for you to give him a trophy. They're just so easy.
Yeah. Bryce is the name of a guy who would win the Heisman. Just going to throw that out there. It's not that he deserves it. I'm just saying, like a guy named Bryce, that's a strong quarterback name.
Is Bryce? I mean, I feel like there's never been a Bryce to win a Heisman Trophy in the past. Let's get on
But
that.
Bryce is the name of like the jock in high school who's like too handsome and too good at it.
No, it's not. You watch too many 80s movies. Like what?
Bryce
Drew?
Bryce Young. Also, Bryce Young is like the opposite of that. He's like small.
Yeah.
He like defies a lot of kind of stereotypes of the
Bryces.
sort of which Pablo is talking about. So back to the actual football game. I mean, it really just comes down to whether or not he can stay upright. Did he get sacked 7 times in the Auburn game? I feel like every time that Alabama's played a close game this year, he has racked up more than 3 sacks. A lot of it's on the offensive line. Some of it is on his style of play. But if Georgia, which is, of course, the best defense in football, gets to him, it's going to be really hard for me to see how Alabama pulls this out.
Who we picking? Who you got, Pablo?
I'll take Alabama.
Okay, never
I'll
mind.
take Bama.
Never mind. We're done.
Roll Tide.
What's next?
Roll Tide.
What's next game?
Bama is how you say it.
Bama.
You're not even saying it right.
You're
It's
still
Bama.
not
I'm sorry.
doing
I've only lived
It's
in New
Bama.
York City. I only live in James Carville. James Carville?
What is this voice?
This feels offensive. Like, I don't know who it's offensive for, but
It's like a sick gumbo. You're mixing a lot of different regional accents.
Wait,
but
is
he's not mixing
this-
accents. He's mixing cartoon versions of accents.
Wait,
None of these accents in this gumbo are actual accents. These are
Wait,
cartoonish accents.
Is this sick in the sense that this is disgusting, or sick in the sense of my man? Because I'll take that one.
I appreciate it.
That's another accent I do, which is sick, bro. Like sometimes I'll go into skater voice. You're right.
Sick, bro.
I know. I self-scout. I see my tape.
All right, guys, one more if then.
What? What do you
We have
got?
a clip for this one. If these robots are our future overlords, then
No.
blank.
All right.
See it.
God,
What do we
I
got?
hate this. I hate this stuff.
That's nice rotation right
Oh, no. Oh, I don't like this at all.
Oh, good skin.
there. This iRobot, you remember that Will Smith movie?
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
Will Smith would
more
like
like
us
the
to not
one,
remember it, but yes.
Ex
Machina?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this reminds me of. Oh, I don't
but
like this at all.
Look at the ones in the back. You see the ones in the back? The ones in the back had a hard time.
I've never noticed the ones in the back.
Oh!
Wait, no, zoom in on.
Wait.
No, zoom in on the robot behind that
Re-rack
robot.
it, yes.
Yeah.
The one in the back has been through some things.
Left shoulder robot.
The blue eye.
The one,
Oh,
my
God.
lord.
Oh, no.
Wow. Yeah.
I feel like I would be totally fine working for robot overlords personally.
I mean, the cruel truth of this clip is that robot actually doesn't impress me.
Wow.
It's not good enough yet.
You like
it's just not good enough.
So what
It's
part is not impressive? You like the robots that like do feats of athleticism, or it doesn't look lifelike enough for you?
Exactly. Like, make me uncomfortable.
That didn't
That's my
make you
challenge. Make
You
me
weren't
like
uncomfortable watching that?
really uncomfortable. You know, like uncanny valley. Like I'm feeling things I shouldn't be feeling uncomfortable. I've seen that before. I mean, come on. Come on.
Okay, so I watch all of these
You know what I mean,
robot
Dominique.
videos, the Boston
I don't.
Dynamics robot videos.
Don't
And the thing is, like, these robots, they always look super impressive in the videos, whether it's like jumping on things, doing parkour, opening doors, whatever. But all you gotta do is just like roll out a Roomba in front of them, and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, 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 and they fall over. Like, show me a robot who can overcome adversity, like, you know, a robot who maybe is just facing some surprise. What?
You want to be a robot that's good enough, Dominique, who is in way too firm denial about this. That makes me want to Google how much does this robot cost on the dark web. That's what you're ultimately gonna.
What is wrong with you? Stop it. Just stop it. I don't want anything to do with this anymore.
I'm just saying,
retire
if you
from
send all these
debating.
robots,
Dominique's got a lot of money.
no, we're gonna keep talking
Got
about
a lot
this.
of robot money, Mina.
Look, that robot can run 4-3, maybe even like the 3-cone is elite. The robot can lift and like do has a 40-inch vert.
Yeah,
that's
gives
fine.
and receives.
But Dominique, you know that straight line speed is not game speed, and I want to see that robot. This is where tape overcomes measurables.
Didn't they have? I feel like they had the Boston Dynamics robots where they would like hit them with or poke them with hockey sticks and they would regain their balance. Like I think what you're looking for, Mina, I think it's already out there. And Pablo, I don't understand how you aren't freaked out by these robots.
I don't want to see a robot reacting to a hockey stick. I want to see a robot, pick up a stunt. I want to see a robot handle like a DB blitz. I want to see a robot deal with some unexpected pressure or maybe disguised coverage. What you're talking about is so basic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not actually afraid of these current robots because, like, I think the agility that just a regular human has will overcome these current robots. Don't let them get their hands on you, though. But, I mean, I am freaked out by the facial expressions. I think, Pablo... I don't like the face, Pablo, I think that... Yes, look at that. I think that you're being distracted by everything else that's going on. If they painted that face, put a wig on it, and zoomed in real tight, I think you would not be able to tell a difference between that face and a human
Honestly,
face. Can you tell me that's not that you can tell me that Mina is not a robot right now when she was in your face? You can't prove it.
No, I need to hear that robot do some accents. I need to hear that robot. By the way, Brian Kelly, like, can we just go back to that for a second? Like, Mina, wait, hold on. I just remembered this. Mina, didn't you actually for like a bit or maybe for reality, like work with like a dialect coach at one point?
Yes, I did. Chris Lang. Shout out to Chris Lang, the dialect coach. Mike Ryan found him for me. Right.
So what's that actually like? Because I imagine that, what if Brian Kelly actually like paid money?
Okay.
What if he's actually paying money for this?
Because first of all, if he really wanted to transition to a Southern accent, he should have done a slow roll. He just jumped right into the deep end there. You got to do a slow roll. Mix in some y'alls. Like, so my brother, who I've mentioned on this show, he lives in Tennessee.
Marcus Vick, as you have called him, to be clear.
So he lives in Tennessee, and I want to say maybe like 2 years into living there, he didn't have a Southern accent, but he would just every now and then say y'all. I'm like, y'all? Wait, y'all? Who are you? And he would and I realized he was like integrating it slowly into his voice. And that is what Brian Kelly has to do. Like, he should not come out straight with the family. He's got to just pick his spots. But to your question, what a dialect coach teaches you how to do is focusing on the shape of your mouth and your tongue to make certain sounds.
Also, what I want these robot engineers to do better, Dominique, to be very clear about all of this. I'm sorry.
I gotta
leave now.
Yes, please, go away. Do we have any other topics?
We're Dominique, you always ask if we're just going to do another game or a new game. We are actually doing a new game today.
Yes, I love a new game.
It's a very self-serving game, and it's called Where Will I Lose My Money?
Ooh,
we're going to give
is it sponsored yet?
Not yet, but soon. If you have any sponsors, we will chill for you. We're going to give you a 4-game parlay. You tell us where we'll lose our money.
Okay.
The first one, for a $100 bet, you would win $1,039. And the bets are the Chargers money line over the Bengals, the Ravens money line over the Steelers, the 49ers money line over the pathetic Seahawks, and the Jaguars covering plus 12.5 against the Rams. Where will we lose our money?
So you think the Jaguars can lose by less than 12 points? I think that's a good location. The 49ers have a lot of injuries. Otherwise, I'd say the Seahawks are a good destination. Ravens Steelers throw out the record books. That's also a good one right there.
Good ESPN manual invocation.
Yeah, I love that.
Steelers
throw out
win
the record
that
books.
game.
We're going to get some AFC North football.
Yep. Bengals Chargers. I feel like that one can go either way. So
I got the Bengals.
I picked the Bengals too, but I mean, we all could see Herbert returning to old Herbertness and cooking, right?
Wait, so question, Mina and Domonique, where are we on the whole Justin Herbert thing? Because I haven't watched him closely, but it feels like a real roller coaster of he's the savior to no, he's not.
This game is going to be a real referendum on the quarterbacks, which we love. Which is unfair. Unfair, I think, because obviously they're playing very different defenses. Justin Herbert's played well. The football Twitter is obsessed with the fact that he does not have a high average depth of target, and they're very angry at the Chargers offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, for boxing him in. But I think there's been a little bit of inconsistency. I think they're missing a deep threat that makes things a little bit harder for them. And something that is notable and it's interesting in this particular game, the Chargers offensive line, the entire right side basically caves in on every drop back pass. So I think that makes things not only harder for Justin Herbert, Domonique, but a little bit harder to game plan around.
So who's going to cost them the money?
I got the Bengals, man.
I think Alabaster, how do we... Mina, I'm going to agree with you guys who know more than me. I'm just curious, how this game works. So we all agree, Alabaster. Do we actually make... Do we put money on this?
No, I think Alabaster is using us right now. That's what's happening.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
We're being used for him to improve his betting.
How is Alabaster going to lose his money?
He was looking for a 3-game parlay, and he wants us to help him figure out which game to drop. This is some wise thinking right here.
Lock it in, baby.
I don't love the Niners either, though, without Debo. The Seahawks are pathetic. That is fair, but I don't love them without Debo and Fred Warner.
And we gotta throw out the record books game too. So I think that this is just a bad parlay.
So I do have one question, and this is coming from my sports media ESPN gasbaggery, and I have to ask you: if Burrow beats Herbert this Sunday, will he go number 1 in the 2020
No,
redraft?
Because he doesn't beat Justin Herbert. He is beating the Chargers defense. That's not how football works.
Mina's going to knock her camera off her laptop again.
That last word, we went to a whole nother section of the country with that last word. I liked it. I liked it. I don't know where. But
is that Midwestern?
Maybe. I think so. I think you went from the West Coast to the middle of the country. Is that the only one?
No, we got one more. We're going to the bad quarterback.
You might have a problem,
parlay.
Man. I'm worried about you now.
Okay, and so here's what we're betting.
We're betting props now?
Yeah, QB props.
I like all of these.
And it's bet 100 to win 455. Ben Roethlisberger over half an interception. Russell Wilson under 229.5 yards. And Jared Goff under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Where will I lose my money if I bet this parlay?
So here's my question to the football experts. How many carries is Adrian Peterson going to get for the Seahawks this weekend?
You're trying to upset
I think he's going to get 1 carry.
Yes. Well done.
I actually like all of those bets.
We should Jack in the Box.
I mean, because I do think Ben's going to get picked. I do think Seahawks are going to continue to struggle to move the ball through the air. And I also think it's more likely than not that Jared Goff throws less than 2 touchdowns. I like all those.
Can we get that quote back up there, please? I don't need to read it. I just want it back up there. I just want to make sure that everyone saw it. I just did. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So I would like follow-up questions. So what mode were you in before?
Mm-hmm.
I specifically requested not to talk about this with anyone, and yet here we are. I'm
not asking you. It's a ridiculous thing that we say, that plenty of people say about plenty of teams. It's just one of the many things that are in the ESPN handbook that are absurd. Like they're in win now mode. I had to deal with I had to deal with people telling me that the Cowboys were in a must-win game when I was on Get Up. And I had to really argue with people about that. Like, what? Must? Do you understand the definition of must? Like, no,
must.
It's not a must-win. Single elimination playoffs, must win. You win and you in playoffs, you must win.
I had we were asked that around the horn. This is, by the way, debatable, where we just recycle our other takes from other shows. And
That's right.
Domonique, I said, it's not a must-win game. It's a should-win game. And that felt like a new level of gasbaggery coming from me, which is kind of accurate.
Yeah.
But
win now mode, guys.
Man, that quote alone, the win now. I mean, it's not really fair because it was through Ian Rappaport at NFL Network. It wasn't a direct quote from someone inside the Seahawks organization. But the Seahawks decision to sign Adrian Peterson at a moment when their season is over, they should be evaluating young talent on their roster. And by the way, Adrian Peterson looked completely washed in Tennessee. To me, is as much an indictment of this entire it might feel like a marginal whatever, who gives a crap, the season is over move.
No, right.
But it is damning of this organization, an organization that I've, not been particularly friendly to over the last week or so.
Man. Oh,
why are we talking about this?
You brought it back up. You brought it back up. I changed the subject. I moved on to Cowboys. You brought us back. Oh.
Yeah.
There are
and now
games this weekend. The Chiefs and the Broncos are playing on Sunday Night Football. That is a game with actual ramifications.
Oh, they were ready for this. This is painful.
I like how we blew the production budget on that Brian Kelly video and the color quality.
I was about to say,
photos.
how much ink did that cost? I want to know. Like
high inkjet.
That is serious. Man.
For Alabaster pose.
Color laser
again. Oh, what is this? What is this nonsense?
That's like
who
oops
that
size?
is.
That is a dial
it's
you put
it's
on.
A meme.
Yeah.
It's a meme.
Yeah.
It's a
Robot
meme.
dial.
It's a meme.
That on there.
I don't know what those are. Memes.
Memes.
Nope.
You guys,
We're not doing
ready
it
for some
again.
bonus topics?
A meme.
Memes.
No, the southern way to say meme is mime.
There you go.
You're gonna meme someone.
that's good.
I got
That's
maimed,
good.
and that could mean a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Bonus topic.
Meme.
Okay, it's time for some bonus topics. Good tweet, bad tweet. First one comes from our friend Long Live the Queen, who tweeted out this photo of Domonique talking about Dak carrying a water jug.
Good tweet.
That's a good tweet.
Good tweet. Love that. You really shifted it to Kellen Moore very quickly there, and I don't think I didn't notice that.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yep. Kellen Moore's hive
Say hi to
is
your friends.
furious. Domonique.
Ashley's here.
Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Hey, I'll say hi.
Oh,
You have to wave
Oh,
now.
Ashley. Ashley and I bonded over Instagram.
Whoa,
Domonique, recently.
whoa. Get out of my wife's DMs, you maniac. I'm going to tell your wife.
Here's what we realized. Do not do that. You've had bad encounters. Well, not bad, just ones that don't reflect super well on you.
Next
sorry
topic.
for a different
What is this? Like now we have to explain. Never mind, we don't.
We're running out of time. Next
All right. Next tweet. This
tweet.
one comes from Zendaya 42069, who says, "What everyone will look like in the future."
That's Pablo in his jeans.
Oh wow!
A bald Pablo?
Yeah.
I love it.
Vin Diesel me looks pretty bleeping hot. Almost cursed. Yep. There it is. Can you guys Photoshop the ugly robot into that as well and put some glasses on him?
Can we get a hair wager for you, Pablo? I feel like you really like your hair, so we need a wager that requires you to shave it.
Oh God, I can't.
Who do you believe in this weekend? Georgia, Alabama. Pick one.
This hair ain't going nowhere, Dominique.
Oh, gosh,
it ain't
I'm
going
sorry.
nowhere. This hair today.
No. No.
Okay, last tweet, and then we'll get you out of
Stop
here.
it.
Our last one is, if Pablo's camera falls down.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Those are great jeans. Glad those jeans are great again.
Sorry to rag and bone.
Those are not.
You want to sponsor me?
No, those
You want to
jeans,
sponsor me?
Those are obviously
Willing to
Wranglers.
turn this
Those are
around.
obviously Wranglers. Those are those Brett Favre Air Favres.
Brett Favre definitely wants to buy one of those robots, by the way.
I'm done with you.
I mean,
Mina,
the
you
future
ran
robot.
Mina off. You try to run me off too?
Version 1,
You
he's
try
not
to run me
about,
off
but
too?
like the
We only got 1
2.0,
second. We got 1 second.
That,
Can you
like,
be
that new
civilized
OS update?
for 1 more second. We made it.
I just need a couple
Goodbye.
things to be smoothed out.
Goodbye. We'll never
You
see.
know, it's just like
Please
the
text
motion's
Mina
a
an
little
apology.
too robotic. Is the point? Yep. Yeah,
It's so creepy. It's kind of cool though.
but not creepy enough.
And then for you, you're too creepy for all of us, Pablo.